Alrighty then. Thank you, Stephen. Up next, I would like to introduce another friend of mine who I've gotten to know over the past couple of years, I would say, who continues to inspire me with his own unique way of approaching this conversation. He too is a veteran, as some of our other speakers have been, and he's somebody who is, I think, really starting to get loud with his voice with regard to medical marijuana. Maybe he was an activist always before, I don't know, but I know that now he's quite loud. And I would like you to put your hands together for my good friend. He has served this country, Mr. Arthur Mayer.
Hello, my name's Arthur Mayer, and I'm an activist for three things. I'm an activist for decriminalization, for medical cannabis, and for tax and regulating. I am here today, though, to speak to you about medical cannabis, and specifically full plant medical cannabis for people of the state of Texas who are affected by disease processes that could either cure or improve their quality of life, because that's what this is all about, is improving a person's quality of life when they're battling some deep disease process like Crohn's or cancer. And but we've heard from some speakers today that with Crohn's and cancer and various disorders, and but I want to speak to you today specifically about veterans issues a little bit. I've served basically 6 years in the military. I was 4.5 years in the Army in active duty. I did a tour in Vietnam and 9 months in Korea, and then I served 2 years as a National Guard member here in the state of Texas. And I have rheumatoid arthritis, and I wake up every day, I'm stiff and I have pain in my joints. And cannabis has 20 times the anti-inflammatory effect of aspirin without the side effects of bleeding out in your stomach and various other things. It also has 2 times the effect of cortisone. So it's very anti-inflammatory. And to stress this a little more, in Canada, the MD Webb did a survey that 55% of all medical cannabis patients in Canada use cannabis for arthritic conditions, for inflammation and for chronic pain, which I suffer from both. And one other thing I'd like to mention is that in our advocacy for medical cannabis, we need a full plant bill, because the current one that is before us is only going to help a very small percentage. And then after they've jumped through loop after loop after loop, and one thing we should keep in mind, you hear a lot of people talk in the political spectrums that like to talk about medical cannabis. They always want to say, well, if we approve it or give it to you, you're going to have to go through all the pharmaceutical drugs before we even let you use medical cannabis. And I'm totally against that. I think that cannabis should be right up there. The doctor thinks it's the best medicine. You should have that first before you have to go and kill yourself with all the pharmaceutical side effects of drugs that the doctors want to give you. I'm currently on an anti-inflammatory drug that I have to get my eyes tested every year because I could go blind. Before that, they had me on some medicine that I had to have my kidneys tested, or not my kidney, but my liver tested every 3 months because it could shut down my liver. So I will tell you from personal experience that cannabis has none of those side effects. And it's very good for the chronic pain, and it's very good for the swelling and inflammation that you get as a result of rheumatoid arthritis. I want to zero in just a little bit about veterans, and of course, it's just plain that veterans can benefit from cannabis for chronic pain because in the Afghani and Iraqi and wars, they've had these IEDs where veterans had their arms and their legs blown off. They have neuropathic pain, so that's kind of a given, really, that they could be helped by that. And but there's other things that veterans issues they have is PTSD, and that's one of the main things right now that veterans are fighting for, and different organizations are raising their voice to give the veterans access to cannabis for PTSD. Just a few facts from the Department of Veterans Affairs. 31% of Vietnam vets have been diagnosed with PTSD. 10% of Desert Storm veterans have been diagnosed with PTSD, and that's when the elder Bush pushed back the Iraqis from going into Kuwait. That was Desert Storm. 11% of the Afghanistan veterans have been diagnosed with PTSD, and 20% of the Iraqi veterans. There's been a total of 300,000 veterans diagnosed with PTSD since September 11th, 2001. Are there any women veterans here? Any women veterans? All right, give it up. Give it up for the lady. By 2015, 20% of all new recruits will be women veterans. Since September 11, 2001, 280,000 women have served in Afghanistan and Iraq. And many of these suffer from PTSD. Another thing, let's see, what else can I say? Oh yes, I wanted to get into one more thing. When everybody thinks of PTSD, they think of war-related stress and war-related injuries and war-related memories. But 7.7 million people in the United States have been diagnosed with PTSD. It could be a person, a lady being raped, or somebody being tortured or mugged. Child abuse victims suffer from PTSD. And so 50% of all PTSD victims, whether man or woman, don't seek treatment, so they continue to suffer. And one of the things, one of the main ingredients of treating PTSD is actually THC. You know, the drug that gives you that euphoric high that everybody's scared of. Your brain has these receptors, and they're concentrated in 3 parts of your brain. One of them's the hippocampus and cerebral cortex. And there's another one, I can't remember what it is, but the hippocampus is the part of your brain that restores memory. So people that take cannabis, it really affects how they remember those memories, or if they remember them at all. And so it's very effective in the treatment of PTSD. I never suffered from PTSD because when I was in Vietnam, I was stoned every day I was there. Every day. 100%. Or I probably would not have made it, and I may have suffered. But I believe that one thing about smoking cannabis in a war zone is that cannabis, especially the THC variety, keeps you focused on the moment. You don't think about the past, you don't think about the future, you're just right in the moment. And so it helps. It really helps with the anxiety and the fear of dying and the fear of mutilation by war itself. War is hell. war is pure hell, I'll tell you that right now. And there's a reason that the government likes to ship young kids to war, because they don't know any better. But after they've been there a while, they realize they probably should have never went in the military to begin with, because of some political agenda of some party. So anyway, one other thing I wanted to cover with the last thing here, I'll be real brief. If I can find my notes here. Here we go. Active duty servicemen, one every day commits suicide. Every day. That's been going on mostly since the Desert Storm in Afghanistan and Iraq. Overall, veterans, it's like 22 a day. And the states that have legalized medical cannabis have seen like a 10%, 11% reduction in suicides with medical cannabis. And I think if we save one veteran's life, it's worth it. And we need whole plant cannabis legislation, so that every person that is affected can be treated, not just one small segment of our society. We're a state, and our state needs to listen. Somebody said, is Texas ready for medical cannabis or tax and regulate or decriminalization? Texas has been ready a long time, but our legislatures and our politicians are the ones that are dragging their feet. It's hard to say. But overall, Texans are for it. Texans are ready for it. Nationally, we're ready for it. All over the world is ready for it. The national organization, what's that thing up there in NATO, or not, is it NATO? New York City, NATO, what is that thing? But anyway, they're even changing their opinion. World Health Organization or something. Anyway, the whole thing all over the world in South America. You know, the South American drug war, people have died. I could go on and on. I'm getting away from the point, but thank you very much, and let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get done.